welcome to today's vlog. It's the 19th of October and I have just finished my coaching session with Kit. I'm just driving to work. I still haven't figured out how to get this thing to stop bouncing around so much, but I'm just gonna try and get better at chatting in the car. I feel like yesterday I don't know if it made any sense. I haven't watched it back yet, but after I finished I was like, I don't know, it feels kind of weird. Like, I've gotten used to talking while doing my makeup now, but I'm still not used to talking while driving, like talking to myself properly while driving. So anyway, we just finished my coaching session, and it's so funny. Every time I feel like I'm gonna have nothing to talk about, it's always when it's been the most helpful, because I have needed to talk about things. So today we were mainly just chatting about stuff that I have been talking about in my vlogs, which is that on the weekend I made a plan. I fell behind with the plan because my blogging guide took much longer to make than I had expected, and then I made myself wrong for falling behind, for not getting things done that I'd planned. And I spent a lot of time on Sunday and Saturday night just in a really horrible mindset that wasn't really helpful. It wasn't serving me. Then on Monday morning I pulled myself out of it, because I was like, well, this is just ridiculous. Like, all this suffering is just being caused by the way I'm relating to the experience. And then I pulled myself out of it. I reprioritized my personal development work, self-coaching scholars, meditation, like all of that, which does take me a good hour to hour and a half every morning. So I find that when I am getting really busy, it's the first thing I'm tempted to cut out. But whenever I do, it always makes me less productive than if I had done it and invested the time in getting myself grounded and in the right headspace. So yeah, we were just chatting about that, and one thing that Kit has taught me is a lot about integrity. Wow, this phone is bouncing around. Is about integrity and following through with your plans. And then there are exceptions to that when, you're sick or something means that it's not workable, which is an outside circumstance. But if it's ever me choosing not to do something, or me feeling disempowered, like disempowering myself, that I need to get in contact with him and he can help bring me out of that. And I have not been good at getting in touch with him. Like, I didn't even realize on Sunday that it was a breakdown, or what he calls a breakdown, and that I needed to get in touch with him. And even though I was saying to him today as well, even though I knew that I wasn't feeling empowered and I was relating to it in a way that wasn't helpful, I didn't pull myself out of it. And I think it's I can often I'm trying to speak in first person, it's hard sometimes, what am I trying to say? No, I've just lost my train of thought, because I'm just trying to merge on to this. You can really just end up in a situation that isn't fun, and it isn't, you know it's not helpful, it doesn't even feel good, but it's familiar, and you're just staying familiar misery instead of uncertain happiness, if that makes sense. Or even if you know what you could do, it's if you're feeling miserable about your weight but you don't eat healthy or exercise, it's the same kind of thing where you can see what you're doing. Oh, we're on the bridge and it's really bumpy. You can see what you're doing and you intellectually know that it's not good for you and that it's not helping you get what you want, but you've got some kind of mental block that's keeping you there. And it could be fear of failure, fear of trying your hardest and that not being good enough, so many different things. But yeah, I really had a good chat to him about that situation, how to plan, and had to set myself up with a good plan, because I was saying to him that when I did my planning on Saturday morning, I made a plan which in hindsight, I was saying it's so challenging, because at the time I truly felt like I was making a plan that I could follow through with, and I really was making an effort to set myself up for success. But in that, I had forgotten completely that I spend about 30 minutes a day relating to, or if not longer, filming this and all of that. I hadn't put in any of that in my calendar. I hadn't put in baking Steve's mum's cupcakes, which I had already known I was doing, but I just forgot to include that. So I had set myself up with a plan that I knew I couldn't stick to, but then I didn't know, does this make any sense? But I really love the idea of integrity in the way that Kit has taught me about it, and that to just have the integrity with yourself that you do with your friends. And it's really hard to apply it, but did I have something in my teeth? No. It's really hard to apply, and I find it challenging, but I've come through leaps and bounds, and I'm getting better at it. But it's just if you make a plan with your friend, and at the to say meet up for lunch, and at the time you make the plan, you're not intending to meet up for lunch, then that's not having integrity. But often we do that with ourselves, where we promise ourselves we'll eat healthy, we'll go to the gym, even though deep down we know we don't have that true intention of doing it. That's a breakdown of integrity as well, or at least the way I see it. But I feel like I'm in these few months now of this daily vlog, every week. I guess it's because as well I'm doing a lot of personal development work with self-coaching scholars. Then I have a coach as well, and because I do these videos, I'm constantly reflecting on things. I feel like I am making progress and really getting better at not shaming myself for if I haven't followed through with the plan, or if things didn't look like I thought they would. And Kit as well was talking about the difference between commitment and attachment, which I hadn't heard of spoken about in this way before. He was saying that commitment to a plan is where you're committed, but attachment is where you need it to look like you're attached to it looking a certain way. And I'm behind this bus. Just being really, no, this is crooked. Just being really attached to it looking a certain way, and that it's important to be committed but not attached. And what I had done when I didn't follow through with my plan, and I had underestimated how long it would take to produce the standard that I wanted to produce, or just sorting out this sliding, was that I made myself wrong, and I shamed myself, and that is never a productive place to work from. So just sorting out this lighting, I don't know, and to just stop doing that, and also call myself out on it. And if I do it, to be kind to myself, don't shame myself about shaming myself. And because that can be vicious too. I know that with food, sometimes if I eat something unhealthy, and then I'm oh my god, I ate something unhealthy, and I'm adding the shame on top of the shame, and it just really isn't helpful at all, and it just kind of keeps you in that spiral. So we're just working on doing that, and instead of making myself wrong when I don't follow through with a plan, or there's some reason I can't fulfill it, to just be I underestimated the time, it took longer than expected, not to be I'm so wrong because of it. And I'm sure a lot of you guys do it too, because I know that you guys tell me that you do it, and that you struggle with, you want to have a productive day, and we often do it, or I'll just speak in first person. God, it's so easy to speak in third person. that like we can do it on such a micro basis. If I'm wanting to have a productive day and it's like say 11 a.m. and I haven't had a productive day, then I'll start shaming myself about, I have like this day this day has been wasted, I haven't done as much as I should have done. And yeah, I was speaking about that in Monday's vlog, not sure what day that'll be actually, but I'll find it and link it below, but about how I've been causing myself all this suffering because I was telling myself this whole story about what I should have done. And we do it without, like this is, I think, from my point of view, the reason we have a quarter life crisis is that we have this whole story in our head about should, and then we're comparing ourselves to that, and it's, we think it's all these external expectations, but it's really our own expectations that we have, and just this disparity between should and reality. And just by changing the way we relate to it and to what we're doing with our lives, we can actually stop having all of that crisis. But I'm just gonna go to Officeworks and pick up an SD card. I think it's an SD card, memory card for my my DSLR camera, which I haven't used for ages. I normally just use my iPhone, but I really want to get into the creative side of photography. I'm not really into photography at the moment, but I'd love to do that. And Steve bought me a camera. Where can I park? Steve bought me a camera a few years ago, and I used to use it quite a bit, but I haven't used it lately. And so yeah, I really want to do that. So I'm gonna have a look at getting a new memory card. Maybe I'm not, because I don't know if I can get a park. This is mayhem. Oh, someone's taken it. Oh well, maybe I'll just go straight to work. Scrap that, going straight to work. Might be a little bit early, but just can't be bothered finding a park if it's going to be too hard. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Really glad to have a coach and to have someone help me work through that, because it's something I do struggle with still, all that negative self-talk, and it's just a habit. Like, I've just been in a habit for years of that pattern of thinking, and it's so easy for it to just keep coming back up. But I know that every time I call myself out on it, like, I'm not expecting to have that conversation I had with Kit today and to never find myself in that thought pattern again, but to really just be aware of it. And he was saying, like, and we wrote down on my action list for this week, if I'm feeling empowered, if I'm feeling disempowered, to call him straight away, and then he'll like just have a few minute conversation with me and get me back into a better way of thinking and like empowered again, instead of me spending a whole day in that miserable mindset, or a whole weekend. So yeah, that was today's outcome from coaching. Oh damn it, I could have gone. And yeah, I'm just really grateful to have Kit as my coach and to be doing this work, because it is not fun to be beating yourself up all the time. Okay. So yeah, and let me know in the comments as well, like, if you guys struggle with this at all and what your thoughts are, and if, yeah, I don't know, I just also like to hear from you and chat in the comments as well. But it is so easy to shame ourselves for not living up to our own expectations, and I think it's all about the commitment but not attachment kind of thing. So I'm doing, this morning I went to the gym did squats this morning, and then I did my self-coaching scholars, which I'm so obsessed with. Like, it is such good value. I love Brooke Castillo. Love her teaching and coaching. Did that. I've been meditating every day again this week since Monday, when I was like, what are you doing? The other thing Kit is having me do this week is to prioritize sleep. So I was telling him that on Friday last week I just hit a wall, or on Thursday after coach this time last week I hit a wall completely, and I've been staying up every night to chat to Steve after prac, and which meant I wasn't getting to bed till 11:30, 12, and then waking up at 5 for the gym. So on Friday I was just completely fried, and he was like, look, you really need to like write down on your action list to prioritize sleep again. He wanted me to have naps. I'm not a napper. I don't know, it's just not me. I just, only if I'm exhausted, but I never really like the feeling of napping in the day. So I just said, could I please just instead try to get more sleep at night? He was like, okay. So I'm committing to doing that. So I'll probably have to have a chat with Steve about what time we're going to go to bed, or what time I'm going to go to bed. Yes, that's where I'm at, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.